Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a scene for the Changeling venue. We find Arthur King going into Goblin Town to go shopping, or at least start the shopping process.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur addresses the gates to Goblin Town. The number of knockers that guard Goblin Town has increased. Not substantially, but you notice as opposed to the 4 or 5 that normally guard the gate, there's about 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And they look. One of them in charge kind of sizes you up and down. Reason for entry?
I'm going shopping. I need a new sword.
Fair enough. Your draw spends well. And he just
Mm-hmm.
kind of hammers the big door, and then you hear the machinations of clockwork of wheel and gear turning, hammers and pistons cranking and cranging, springs springing, and the gates creak open.
And Arthur merely smiles and nods to every knocker, the guard that he passes as he walks through the gates.
As he crosses into the gate creaks shut and slams shut behind him. The area dark for a moment, then illuminated via fairy fire, just like the way it is, and then through the pathways into Goblin Town proper.
Mm-hmm.
The city's a little quieter than normal, not full hustle and bustle like it usually is.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming common sense tells me I know the quickest way to a armorer or the people
Been
that
to
would.
Goblin Town a few times. There's enough signs.
Yeah.
You can talk to guards or people.
Mm-hmm. First thing Arthur's probably going to do is go for a armorer, someone who's sells swords and makes swords, that type of thing.
Okay. So that's not too difficult to find. There is literally an entire section of town dedicated to people who make things that hurt other people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Arthur's just basically he's going to look around, all the particular swords that they have on offer, but in particular he's trying to find one which may, the blade may have some silver in it, or could has like a silver tip blade or silver. What is it? What's that bit down the middle? Is it called the hilt? I'm having a brain fart. It's 11 o'clock at night for me.
Fair enough. Like the crossbar?
Yeah.
Or are you talking like in
the part that you hit people with?
The blade?
Yeah.
Or the bottom of the pommel?
Yeah. Basically the part that's, when it how, all right, let's just say yes, the blade, just to save complications. Because I'm thinking of a specific part of the blade, but yeah.
Like the flat?
Well, you know how all blade, they're not like just flat.
Right.
But they have kind of like, they're almost folded on each other.
Yeah.
With that little thing down the middle.
Oh, like kind of where the blood groove is at the edge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just either one.
Okay. That's going to be a little bit harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many people put silver into their weapons, so that's going to be, well, as you ask around, a couple of people are like, no, we don't do that. And then one will point you down to just a smithy. It's actually like a smithy tent, open air furnace, very archaic. He might be able to help you.
And yeah, Arthur will probably head in that direction. That is there anything about this particular tent or this part of town that I should know about?
This is just where the Weaponsmiths Guild
Mm-hmm.
hangs out.
Okay.
So everybody here is a little violent, a little uneasy, and is prone to their particular form of destruction.
Mm-hmm. And Arthur will, naturally head into there, but we have a degree of a modicum of caution, because knockers when they're angry can be either exceptionally entertaining or
Downright dangerous.
yes.
And there's an old knocker. He's kind of sitting in a rocking chair. He's got a poker that he's just tending some coals with, and an old bellows that, as he's rocking, you notice is fanning the flames.
And Arthur will, just act kind of casual, just looking around. Probably look at this gentleman, the stuff that he's poking at.
It's a coal bed.
Mm. Good evening, sir. Hope I'm not interrupting anything important.
Not at all.
Oh, good. I had a few gentlemen back there, and he'll gesture to the general direction where a lot of the swordsmiths are located, who pointed me in your direction. He said that you're quite adept at smithing silver.
Yep.
Have you ever smithed it into a sword format?
Doesn't work real well. It's pretty soft, but I know I can probably come up with something.
Why is the metal so soft, pray tell?
It's just the nature of the beast. That particular substance is very soft. It bends very easy. That's why it's mostly decorative and not used in more combat-oriented mechanisms.
But it is used.
It can be,
is it not?
from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Why in need of a weapon that strikes with silver?
Why indeed? Well, let's just say that there's been some unpleasantness. And, well, let me put it this way. I rather prefer silver to gold. Personally speaking, anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I do understand, however, your sentiments about silver being impractical.
Quite.
What would you suggest would be the ideal format to create a weapon that contains the qualities of silver, yet obviously still retains its practicality as far as, well, something like this? And he kind of holds up the holstered long sword, which he does have, and it has like the strap things over the handle,
right,
which are clipped onto it because etiquette.
Probably an inlay of silver down the blade, maybe a piece in the pommel. Hard to tell.
Indeed.
Depends on how much silver you actually need.
How would, and Arthur holds up the still holstered longsword, something like this would you estimate
Are you looking for something a little more fluffy or something a little more real?
I was kind of hoping to have something in the, well, something that could work either way, but I do believe that for practical sake, to, shall we say, maintain the right of ignorance in some vague sense of the word.
Gotcha. Got you.
After all, I think you and I can both imagine that the kind of beings, should I say, that would be bothered by such a weapon as this tend not to see the world in the same light as we do. Which is a shame, but as you say,
Agreed.
it's the nature of the beast.
Agreed.
And we do have to protect ourselves. There have been a rather disturbing number of incidents this year, so I am told that, after all, I do believe that the Romans said it best. If you want peace, prepare for war.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we can probably get you a chimerical sword that kind of hawks spits into the fire and it sizzles with some dream silver inlay or a good bar down the center. It'll take me a week or two to get it ready. It's gonna be a long process given the nature of the beast with this special order of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be able to treat the silver right, gotta make it meet with the steel right, so it doesn't come flopping out at the first sign of impact.
Indeed. It will be a labor of love.
Indeed. Really a skills test for me.
Mm-hmm. We all love a challenge.
Indeed. Now this isn't gonna be cheap.
This may be an unusual, how should I say, suggestion as such. But, well, the grey world has offered me substantial wealth, and whilst we all are creatures of two worlds, some of us find ourselves stronger in other regards compared to, well, we
Hey,
find ourselves stronger.
cash or dross, it all spends the same somewhere.
No, of course, of course.
Personally, I like cash.
Mm,
Helps pay rent.
no, of course. Certainly we can come to a reasonable agreement.
Sure.
And do you need me to roll anything?
No, not yet.
Dokes.
And just kind of looks at you and goes, good handmade sword, silver inlaid. Good for more than just one hit or decoration. We're looking at a couple $100.
How much is a couple?
Um,
This is the day and age. This is a modern. Well,
yeah,
this day and age, a couple can mean more than just two.
this is true. Probably looking at about 5.
I do believe with my level of resources, that's a drop in the pond. Actually, let me double check that. I don't want to. I'm pretty sure that 500 is.
It's a good chunk out of your spending money for the month. It's a large chunk. Resources 3, which I believe is $1,500 spending.
Rules, regulation. But here we go. Backgrounds, resources. I thought I found them. I thought I knew where they were. Influence, yada yada yada. Yeah, resources 3. Allowance of 4,500 a month, according to the thing on the LWoD. So
Okay.
yeah, that's. Well, I'll.
Sure.
This is what I'm looking at. So
Okay.
either way, do you want? Shall we do a roll to haggle or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to.
We can do a manipulation politics to haggle.
All right, that's 5.
All right, and I will get
That's
his
5.
up.
It's 5 dice. I've got to roll. Hang on. Let me double check my merits. No, I don't get it yet. Well, I do get the thing for enchanting voice. I don't think higher purpose really
No,
goes with this, so we're not gonna
not so much. Enchanting voice
Obviously makes it easier.
gives you. I'm looking up your merit now.
Yeah, it's -2 difficulty and all social
Okay.
rolls.
So yours will be at diff 4, his will be at diff 6.
Okay. Then can I spend a willpower point for this?
Sure.
Okay. Not that I needed to. That's 6. We're even, as it were.
And he's got a manipulation specialty of haggling. He is a grump who's been in the market for a while.
Oh yes, you bastard. Obviously, that'll bleed up what
Right.
is going on in his head. But, okay. We come to an agreement. No. Yes.
He'll lower it to 4. He'll lower it to 450 from 500 as a because you did get a good. You negotiated a fair point.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So
take me probably about 2 weeks, week and a half. I need to get materials, need to come up with something, and need to get it made. This isn't something you can just get off the shelf, you know.
No, naturally. A piece like this has to be of exceptional quality if it is.
Absolutely.
And I have no doubt in my mind that you are the best man for this job.
You are absolutely right about that.
I'll have to remember your name, good sir. I'll speak good things of you to my father.
Excellent. Jonathan Waite.
Arthur King Jr.
Pleasure's mine. So he will hold out his hand.
And Arthur will shake the gentleman's hand.
We have an accord. One sword for $450. Check back with me in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and we shall see where we are at progress. If we're if luck is a lady, then hopefully you'll get it then.
Well then, Mr. Waite, I shall bid you farewell and thank you for your time.
You are quite welcome. Anything else I can do you for?
Well, there is one other thing. Whom would you suggest is the person to talk to in Goblin Town regarding certain unique treasures?
Depends on what you're looking for in particular. You looking
That's
for
right.
footwear? You looking for gloves, glasses, hats? You looking for swords, ray guns? You looking for?
I was more looking for something that would give one an edge, should I say, when it comes to, shall we say, some rather quarrelsome individuals. I've always been of the mind that he who draws first blood wins the battle.
Well then,
There's only so much that
there's
I can offer
there are a
you.
couple of guys I know, but there's a tanner about a block north and a block west of here. He works with some strange and unusual magics. Ain't one of my kind.
Oh?
Nah. Issue type, but he works with some real strange and unusual magics.
Would this gentleman belong to, well, the Adhene?
No, he's an issue.
Oh.
Real adept sandwalker. But bonkers. But he
Bonkers
worked.
as in how?
You'll meet him when you see him.
I shall have to, well, I look forward to meeting him then. Thank you again, Mr. Waite. I hope to see you again soon.
My pleasure. I look forward to seeing you in a 10-day.
And Arthur will, give a courteous bow to Mr. Waite out of respect, and he'll go in the direction that Mr. Waite had pointed him towards.
As you leave, Mr. Waite nods his head and he pulls out scratch pad and just kind of starts working on it with a piece of graphite. Obviously starting the process, scratching his head. And you go over to where Mr. Waite had indicated, and there's a shop unlike the rest of Goblin Town. It is decorated in banners, and the walls are painted on the outside with bright, vibrant colors. Purples, blues, greens, and reds, yellows.
Interesting. I'm assuming it has like a shop window or something like that.
There's just, instead of a door, there's just curtains.
And Arthur will, tentatively, kind of go up to the curtains and just kind of slowly part them to look inside.
And there's a host of skinned beings. There's a couple of body type forms that people use to make clothing on. Dress molds. There's there's leathers hanging around the wall. There's fabrics of all kinds.
Arthur will kind of walk into this little shop and kind of look around, and I'm presuming that with my level of grey mare, I can see if any of these things are proper treasures or
Nothing
something.
here is a proper treasure. These are all more like component parts.
Oh, right.
What you would use to start making a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And from the back, this booming voice. What can I get for you, noble one?
And then Arthur will kind of turn his head towards the sound of the voice first.
It's behind, again, some more curtains that lead presumably to the back of the shop.
And he'll kind of like turn his whole body towards where the sound of this voice is coming from. Well, that depends. I'm looking for something practical and yet, how can I put it, useful at the same time.
This older issue comes through the door, large of body, and he's got these brilliant silver eyes. Oh, really? His body is covered in traditional kind of tribal tattoo. Might be Maori, might be something else.
And here's me without academics. Damn you, Changeling the Dreaming, for not including it.
Right.
Yes. Mental note, people who are part of the Changelings the Dreaming 20th anniversary version, if you're watching this particular video, which I don't assume you are, but on the off chance you are, include that. Anywho, back to the game. Mr. Waite directed me to your shop. He told me that you're the type of gentleman who sells the kind of wares that I would look for.
Ah, yes. Mr. Waite, such a good and noble soul.
Very talented.
Whatever you do, don't short him on a deal. It will end poorly.
I don't intend to. After all.
Good.
Nevertheless.
So, what are you looking for?
I am hoping, well, I was looking for a certain treasure which I would hope you would be able to at least point me in the direction of where I might be able to find such a thing.
Yeah.
As you can, well, and Arthur kind of like holds up the holstered sword. As you can tell, I'm rather a martial person by my position, but I've always had this mentality, this belief that he who draws first blood will win the battle. Unfortunately, there's only so much that Quicksilver can provide. I was rather hoping something that would bolster my chances of being able to strike first, if such a thing is within the realms of possibility.
See. Well, I do know of a certain design, a recipe to grant you that. Would now, what are you looking to get this in? Are you willing to sacrifice protection for it?
Well, that depends entirely on the nature of the treasure.
Are you looking for... Are you looking for something on your feet, your hands, your chest?
I was rather hoping something on the hands, after all. However, something that would affect the entire body, yet obviously be quite, well, I'm sure we can agree that such a thing has to, how can one put it, have a sense of practicality to it.
Of course. But, depending on where it is worn, depends on how efficient it will be. He kind of tilts his eyes back, his eyes looking at you.
with the fact that I have this, and he again holds up the holstered sword, and the fact that I quite often have to wear armor, rather heavy armor, I might add, what would you suggest would be the most practical choice? You there, man? Hello? 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 Hmm. There were those, ladies and gentlemen. It appears that Austin has had a power surge. He has to reboot, so musical interlude until you know, he gets back. Na 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 na. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And now is a time for me to talk about complete and utter cobblers. Did you know that the common gnat, although it only lives for 2 hours, makes love approximately 198 times? Yes, I know. It's the mirror opposite of your life, isn't it? Oh, good heavens, Facebook, what are you showing us today? La di da, la da di da di da, da 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 da.
Hello.
All right. What was the last thing you heard from me before, the conversation?
It was, I use this, and you hold up your sword.
Yeah. Well, I'll go from there. Well, considering I use this, and he holds up his holstered sword, and the fact that I quite often would be using this treasure whilst I am wearing armor, heavy armor to be specific, what would you suggest would be the most practical choice?
Well, boots to their symbolic nature of movement would be the first. I would suggest strongly against a torque, a gorget. Armor you might find to be more suited, and it might give you a better edge, but you would sacrifice the defense of what you're wearing.
I would be in agreement with that.
It all depends. How big are you willing to go, and what are you willing to give up? Because he reaches out and he taps your breastplate. I can make you a chess piece. It will not protect you nearly as much as that will, but you will go faster. You will move quicker than the winds on the desert sands.
In that case, I would presume that boots would be the best choice in this occasion.
Boots. Good. We can do boots. Now, come, have a seat. And he will motion over a chair, and it's like the chair is almost on strings as he moves it under you or behind you for you to sit.
And then Arthur, obviously does sit, but, he kind of like puts his hand down to steady himself as
Fair.
he sits down, because,
Yeah. Well, we'll have to get these boots off, and we'll have to get you measurements. And I will need to check my materials first. Well, check my materials after we get measurements. I might need more. So he will go ahead and help you de-shoe, and then he will...
Hey, I saw it. I see what we did there.
And he will measure your feet and take kind of he'll trace molds, he'll take notes, he'll take pretty precise measurements. And the boots that he's going to make you will go up to just under the knee. Now let me go see what I have, and if I need anything else. And he will... You may put your shoes back on at your leisure. And then he kind of vanishes into the robes into the back. And you hear the whirring of... It's less gears and more chains. Yes. A few minutes goes by and he comes back. Well, I am in need of a couple of ingredients to make this happen. I could go about the usual channels, which could take a very long time, or we could negotiate a discount if you were to gather them for me.
I suppose so, but that all depends on what these ingredients are.
I am in need of 2 hides. One chimerical from a grand beast, and the other a mundane, simple hide of a viper. An actual viper. Pit preferred.
Just making notes here because I don't want to forget this. Pray tell, what would be the difference in price between the two of them?
The difference in price would run about 10 or so dross difference. And potentially far less time.
Interesting. I suppose it would all depend. Well, how much, if I were to allow you to do such a thing on your own devices, how much time and money are we?
We are to get the skin. We are looking for the mundane skin of the pit viper. We are looking at around $100, maybe 75, and I can get that probably within a week. The other one is the skin of a naga. A great serpent beast.
See, I can see how such a creature like that would be difficult.
Yes, quite.
It's a crying shame. I always liked snakes. Nevertheless, if none of us were willing, if no humans were willing to hunt to feed themselves, then, well, the world would be a very different place.
Why, yes, it would.
And, well, I do believe I could be persuaded to search for such things, but that would all depend entirely on the total. If, say, for example, I were to leave you to your own devices, starting today, of course, how much time would it take for a treasure such as this to be made? After all, I don't, well, whilst it would be no real issue to go out hunting for such great beasts, or a hide of one of these pit vipers.
We are. If I get everything, if I were to have everything in hand, I could probably do it in a week. The hard part's getting everything in hand. I can probably get, without expedited cost, tanned viper hide, within a couple of days. The naga hide, that's the hard part. Can put out some calls. Probably get it within 2 or 3 weeks. As most of my contacts are abroad. And I'll need a naga that is similar to the mortal pit viper we use. Just it works better that way. There's less of a chance of your legs rotting off.
Indeed.
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. Very well. I shall see what I can do.
You acquire me both components, and I will do it for 10 dross.
I can make
Most
that.
excellent. Almost all of that is going into the magic process.
So, we have a deal.
Ah, but of course. He smiles big, and he extends a right hand.
And Arthur takes the hand.
He will, actually, as you go to take the hand, he will lunge forward and grab you by the forearm. We have an accord, sir.
Of course.
Then I shall let you, begin your hunt.
I always did enjoy a good hunt.
I would say do your research first. Find a serpent and its counterpart that are complementary.
Well then, I don't believe I caught your name.
And I was looking that up when when the power surge happened.
Oh, good. That's always fun.
And everything is just finished booting. Where was it? Oh, where was it? Was it on the second page? It may have been the second page. Sorry about this.
No, don't worry about it.
Emeka.
Emeka. Well then, Emeka. I'm Arthur King Jr.
Pleasure.
If you do a good job, I shall mention you to my father.
Excellent. I look forward to dealing with you.
And with that, I think Arthur will say goodbye to Ametkar and leave the shop.
Then he will smile. I wait for your return.
And I think we can probably,
Call it here.
Yeah, call it here with Arthur, or should I say Ironborn, making some preparation. In fact, I think I should probably do a quick Greymare check, or wits Grey. Would it be wits or intelligence?
For what?
To try and think about where to find Nagar.
Okay. Sure. Give me an intelligence, Grimer.
Okay, so let me double check. It's not too much. Wow. Depending on the diff, that's either 2 or 3 successes.
Okay. Naga are generally found wherever venomous snakes are found. As they are the dreaming kind of counterpart. They're the nightmare aspect of serpents.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Naga that are related to constrictors. They're not uncommon, but they're not common, but they're not terribly uncommon. They're uncommon but not rare, I should say. That's the word I'm looking for. They're uncommon but not rare.
Okay.
But most times with venomous snakes, you will get a Naga representative.
Okay, that's good. Well, with that knowledge in mind, I think Ironborn is going to have some very interesting things happen very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing he knows a certain snake lady that he's, well, let's not go there.
I'm not saying she'd make a fine pair of boots.
Oh, no, good heavens, no, 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 no. I mean, we know that House Baelor has an Ophidian complex. That's why they have the serpent swirling around the tower in their emblem, but no.
I mean,
No. It'd spoil all the fun that they could have.
it would.
Interpret that how you will.
All right, we're going to go ahead and hit the off button.
Hit the off button before I start shooting myself in the foot.
Night, everybody.